The loan process is often described as our make or break one, in which young, hungry players either thrive or fail during their loan spells away from their parent clubs. In recent years, the loan option has been utilised much more frequently by Arsenal, as budget constraints have forced the London club to loan in players rather than buy them permanently. Take Dani Ceballos and Martin Odegaard as an example. Both players have come from Real Madrid on loan deals rather than permanent ones. While Ceballos has been a consistent performer for Arsenal, especially in the final few games of last season, we are yet to see whether or not Odegaard will have a similar kind of impact. With all that being said, there are various players who are now on the opposite side of the loan option for Arsenal Football Club. These are young, hungry Arsenal players who have gone out on loan looking for game time and opportunities. So, without further ado, meet the 4 Arsenal loanees determined to make their impact in the footballing world. Number 1. William Saliba. The story of William Saliba's Arsenal career has been a curious and strange one. In 2019, Saliba was the player identified by Arsenal as their main central defender for the future. After a season out on loan at Saint Etienne, Saliba returned to London this season, with many expecting that this would be the one in which Saliba's Arsenal career got started. However, at the beginning of the season it was concluded that Saliba wasn't ready for the Premier League, and a loan back to Saint Etienne would be best. However, Arsenal did not complete the paperwork in time, and the move fell through on deadline day. That left Saliba in the dreadful position of effectively being a £30 million member of the under-23s, playing a few games at that level until the January transfer window opened. As soon as the window opened, Arsenal were quick to agree a loan move with Nice, meaning for the second consecutive season, Saliba would be spending it on loan in France. Nice have been a shaky side this season, especially on the defensive end. In Saliba's first game, Nice lost 2-0 at Brest, and the goals conceded reflected general disorganization defensively. Since Saliba's arrival, Nice have won 1 game, drawn 1, and lost the other 2. Saliba has definitely had an impact, however, indicated in his man-of-the-match performance against Metz. Saliba, who is still only 19 years old, will get a lot more chances in the second half of this season. The hope at Arsenal is that the Frenchman will develop and return next season as a more polished product. The youngster still has a massive future ahead of him at Arsenal, as this season was just a minor setback for William Saliba. Expect big things for the youngster. The expectation for him has not changed. He is still the future of the Arsenal defense. Number 2. Matteo Guendouzi. As Arsenal fans, we all remember what happened to Matteo Guendouzi at the end of last season. The Frenchman, who attracted headlines after his post-match spat with Brighton striker Neal Maupay, was severely disciplined by Mikel Arteta and his staff. Although Guendouzi escaped punishment from the FA for his antics against Brighton, it was an entirely different matter internally. Guendouzi, who had a series of indiscretions to his name, was banished from the first team squad and made to train alone with a fitness coach. This was after Arteta and his staff encountered various problems with Guendouzi's attitude and general misconduct. This season, there was a lot of talk about whether or not Arsenal should sell the youngster. However, it was inevitably decided that Guendouzi would be loaned out. Whether or not this is because Arsenal still see a future for Guendouzi at the club, or they are just trying to increase the player's value before selling him on next summer, is yet to be seen. One thing that is for sure is that Guendouzi has performed well out on loan at Hertha Berlin. The Frenchman has become a regular in the Berlin first team and has been an important player for the German side this season. However, Hertha Berlin are currently in a relegation battle, while also having just sacked their head coach. There's no doubt that Guendouzi will play a crucial role in Berlin's survival push in the second half of this season. No one has ever doubted Guendouzi's talent, but it is his attitude that will define his career. Keep an eye out for the Frenchman. Whether or not he remains an Arsenal player next season is unknown, but there's no doubt his career will be a fascinating story to follow. Number 3. Tyreece John-Jules. Tyreece John-Jules has been part of a line of extremely talented youth strikers who Arsenal have developed. the likes of Eddie Nketiah, Sam Greenwood, Falarin Balogun, and John-Jules himself were all highly rated youth products in English football. In 2018-2019, John-Jules had been a regular with the under-23s throughout, and made headlines when he scored in a friendly in Dubai in 2019. That buzz only increased later in the season when he scored a magnificent back-heeled volley for the under-23s against Everton. The following season, John-Jules started to train with the Arsenal first team, at the request of Freddie Ljungberg. When Arteta arrived at the club, John-Jules moved out on loan to Lincoln City in the January window. The move was made in order for John-Jules to get first-team football in his preferred number 9 position. However, John-Jules only made 7 appearances at Lincoln after suffering an injury in March 2020, when he was then ruled out for the rest of the season. This season, the Englishman was once again loaned out, this time to Doncaster Rovers, another side in League One. His loan spell started brightly as a 19-year-old scored 3 goals and got 2 assists in 11 appearances. However, John-Jules had suffered yet another devastating injury, which he has now been sidelined out with for 2 to 3 months. The youngster, who represented England at various ages at youth level, is now faced with a long road of recovery. There is no doubt that the talent is there, but young players' careers are often defined by how they deal with adversity. The next 2 years will be crucial for John-Jules. Keep an eye out for the youngster, and wish him luck in his battle against injuries. Number 4, Matt Smith. Last but not least, Matt Smith is yet another Arsenal Academy product, getting his first taste for senior football whilst out on loan this season. Smith, who has been at Arsenal for 14 years, was loaned out at the beginning of this season to Swindon Town, a League One side. The central midfielder has excelled at Swindon this season, scoring 2 goals and bagging 3 assists. He has featured in almost every game for Swindon and has played a role in their bid for survival. Funnily enough, just yesterday it was announced by Arsenal that the 20-year-old would be leaving Swindon to join another League One side, Charlton Athletic, once again on loan. With this swap, Smith has gone from the 22nd in the league to 7th. Having impressed at Swindon for the first half of this season, Charlton will hope that Smith can assist their bid for promotion. Smith, who has now been involved with Arsenal for almost 3/4 of his life, knew that going out on loan would be a step into the unknown for this season. However, so far, so good for the youngster. Keep an eye out for Smith and his spell at Charlton. At 20 years of age, it's not too late for the midfielder. He'd be a late bloomer for sure, but you just never know in football nowadays. All in all, we must remember that at this point last season, none other than Emile Smith-Rowe was heading out on a loan spell to relegation-threatened Championship side Huddersfield. A whole year later, and the 20-year-old is now a staple of the Arsenal first team, and has been a huge part of Arsenal's mid-season turnaround. The loan system is a fickle and unforgiving process. While some players thrive, others fail. These Arsenal loanees are no exception. All of them have faced adversity during their short careers, and the difference between those who succeed and those who do not are how they are able to deal with that adversity. Best of luck to each of them. Once a gunner, always a gunner.